Hello again, fellow YouTubers! Solomon Pleasant back, and who's this kid with me? Who are you?
I'm MontyCat1432. You may have seen me commenting on some of your channels.
You might. He's just a commenter right now. Hopefully he can start doing videos whenever his first video comes out. Support it. Good friend. Good friend.
It might not be for a month, a year, I don't know, but I am working on it, and maybe this guy will lend me his camera.
Maybe. Lend. Anyway, so I'm finally doing another top 12 because you guys have liked the first one I did and commented on how long it was. So we're going to try to make the intro shorter. Oh, you've commented so much about that. So what we're doing today is we are going to do something more card fight related because I haven't done card fight stuff in a while. I might put some links to my last card fight video, but that's besides the point. So today we are going to talk about our top 12 Card Fight Vanguard clans. Now, just to clear up any kind of confusion, these are the clans that we like as our favorites. So if your favorite isn't on here, there are two lists, so that's like, what, 12 each, plus honorable mentions? That's
We're looking at 24 to 26.
Something like that, so yeah, most likely you'll see all the clans on here. If you don't, sucks.
And the big thing about this, guys, it's our opinion.
Our opinion, so not yours. If you like to complain about it in the comments, go right ahead and comment, because that makes me feel happy that people actually watched it. So, without further ado, here are our top 12 Vanguard clans. And to kick things right off, I'm going to start with my honorable mention. Now, for my honorable mentions, I just have one, Dimensional Police. Now, this clan focuses a lot on, and maybe you can kind of help me with this, really power-based, am I right?
Dimensional Police, it's broken down into basically two things. It's broken down into building up your power, which is the hero side, and then there's the take away from your opponent's power, which is the enemy side, which is what he's referring to as Zeal. Yeah,
I actually put this as an honorable mention mainly because of Zeal, because his name is hilarious to say for me, and also he does have a very interesting ability of sucking your opponents dry of their power, which not a lot of clans really even consider.
Although when you come up to the new reverse units coming out for the clans, as you probably have known from set 12, the Dimensional Police get theirs in set 13, which basically is almost pretty much a copycat of Zeal.
Except more powerful. It's basically combining the Break Ride and Zeal into one thing where it's like, I'm going to smash you.
Yeah.
But, and again, for anybody who is still confused on what these clans are, link to the wiki in the description below. But my honorable mention is basically the Zeal side of the Dimensional Police, because I like Zeal. So that's my honorable mention.
And I actually have two honorable mentions. I've got Spike Brothers, because their idea is different. The hit and run techniques of different ideas, like
of punching you in the face and then running away because it's just like, oh.
And they've gotten a lot better with the break rate that they got in set 10, so. And then Mega Colony. I've always thought Mega Colony was an interesting choice. Frankly, I feel like the clan Link Joker took the idea of binding and they took it to an extreme with locking.
Yeah, so, like just saying, ha, you can't move, to ha, you can't do anything.
I feel like if we were to copy, I feel like if you were to look at it like Mega Colony were the first Link Joker units because they had the same ideas.
Technically speaking, yeah. So, since we both went through honorable mentions, now let's actually start the top 12. And starting off, my number 12 pick is Pale Moon. Now, I put this at number 12 because the other clans I think I would consider building decks more, and the way you can look at this is, if I could choose 12 or 13 clans to build, this is the order of which I would build them. And I do like their art. Their art is very interesting. I'm also kind of a fan of how they do it. They're kind of swapping in and out of the soul, kind of treating it almost like a black box, where it's just like, I go in and I come out. And it's a very interesting technique. Now, the reason I don't build this clan is because it's incredibly expensive.
Yeah.
Well, for the good stuff, at least.
Yeah, the card Laquier, which is basically one of the
Laquier is so expensive.
card pretty much for Pale Moon. Well, in our opinions, it's $40.
Yeah, right now it's
cheap.
like 40 at cheap. And that might change over time with another cross ride coming out. She already has a cross ride, and she says the normal triple rare is the same expense as the SP, so it's just like, get 4 of those, yeah. Good luck with that. But
yeah, for people who picked them up early on when they weren't as expensive, good for you.
Yeah, good for you. If you have 4 of those, you aren't sitting on a gold mine, but
yeah,
they are an interesting build. Expensive-wise, I don't like to put a bunch of money into a lot of stuff, except for like clans that I'm really going for. But still, like their concept, like their art. Number 12, Pale Moon.
And my number 12 is Bermuda Triangle. Bermuda Triangle, for me, it was like, wow. It's a really interesting way to get females into the game, because there were some females I know who started the game with Bermuda Triangles. Bermuda Triangles, to me, was like that one class, like, ooh, we're gonna sit out here, and they weren't that strong at the beginning, but now they're annoying if your opponent can get off their chain. It's like they do a lot of hopping from the field to your hand to your field to your hand to your field, so on and so forth, by using a lot of counterblasts. I put this one really low because it's just one of those classes like, oh, if I lost to this, it's okay. It was a fun deck to build.
Also note that they are very art heavy and very fan service heavy.
Yeah.
If all the clients like, hey, I want to build a deck that's fan service related, what deck do I go to? Pale Moon over there.
Pale Moon?
Thank you, yeah.
Bermuda Triangle, you mean?
No, Pale Moon has more fan service than Bermuda Triangle, obviously.
Yeah, right.
Anyway. Alright, so number 11 for me is Angel Feather. And this one is a lot like Pale Moon, a very interesting concept. This one focuses on using your damage kind of as a weapon and like mulliganing damage and basically shuffling it out. There's even one card where it's just like, I'm gonna do all this stuff and heal all my damage. And it's a very interesting concept again, and the art is very nice. I've always been kind of a fan of the angel type deity, I guess you could say. Reason for not building this deck is, again, expensive-wise, and also it's just hard to find people with Angel Feather stuff, in all honesty.
That's completely true. I've looked around for a lot of people's Angel Feather stuff because I've always thought of the clan as an interesting style. But in order to get some of the better stuff, you really need to either A, get it online,
yeah, or
B, you have to pay a lot for it from people.
Indeed.
So...
And again, it's an interesting build, but it's just hard to find, and I'm just like, no thank you. I want to build something that's easy to build, but not so expensive up the wazoo. But still, a very interesting art concept, a very interesting concept in general. My number 11, Angel Feather.
And my number 11 is actually the same as his. So
Angel Feather?
Yeah, Angel Feather.
Nice.
So, Angel Feather, as I said, it's unusual. I find it just to be one of the most unusual clans out there, because it's the only clan that really works with the damage zone. Because, I mean, there's a card that lets you heal all your damage from there.
Depending on how many you have on field, yeah.
Yeah.
Just, I'm gonna heal 5 damage! I have no damage now! And there are no, like, repercussions for that either. Like some clans where it's like, oh, I put a damage, I get damage back.
Maybe if it was the biggest... You lose cards from the Soul, but Soul is not really that important with Angel Feather.
Yeah, Soul's not that important.
So...
Alright, number 10. My number 10 is his number 12, right? It's Bermuda's, because I am a nut when it comes to art, and the art is really cute for them. How do you say cute in Japanese? Is it kawaii? Is that how you say it?
Don't look at me on Japanese. I know Japanese lore, I don't know how to speak it, though.
I don't know how to speak it either. Because we're white, that's why. Wait, are you white? I don't know! Anyway, but Bermuda's is a very interesting build as well. It's just, I can't get around it because it's complicated to me, just because it's like, you gotta do these certain things and just kind of, the combos are
Oh, you mean like the hand jumping from the field to your hand to field to your hand?
Yeah, it's complicated.
Once you start getting used to it, it's really fun to play. I've even played it as
I've versed
a deck.
I versed it too, and it's fun to play against. It's just like, I couldn't build that because it's hard to get around, and also, again, they are kind of expensive.
Yes and no.
They can be. And it's just hard to find stuff for me. So my number 10 goes to Bermudas.
And my number 10 actually goes to one of the newer clans that had just come out, which is Genesis. Genesis, to me, was like, oh, this is going to be like a copycat of Oracle Think Tank.
Which, when you think about it, it started
pretty much is, but the one thing that I find different is it's more lore-based, pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot more cards that are basically like Roman or Chinese mythology, pretty much.
Really?
And I love mythology. Frankly, if I could, I would be someone who studies mythology. Because it's just something that really has interested me. I mean, it was one of the first projects I ever did in high school, so... And it really took... It's like, wow, I want to build this deck really fast.
And Genesis really focused on using the soul kind of as a bomb, don't they?
Yeah, they really go for heavy soul charging. I mean, they're even heavier than Darker Regulars, in my opinion. Because they can get certain combos allow you to get 10 cards on turn 1.
Oh, Jesus.
Turn 1 is shocking on how much it can get for soul charging, so...
Indeed.
And then when you hit grade 3, boom.
You die.
Yeah, Oracle Queen Hiroko, which is one of the main grade 3s, it's basically says, Counter Blast 1, Soul Blast 3, I get an extra drive check. And I can do this multiple times a turn.
Nice.
So, basically, you build up the soul really big, and then you go boom on your opponent. So that's why it's my number 10.
My number 9 pick. God, people are going to hate me for this if they know this clan already. You're probably going to at least laugh at this. My number 9 is Link Joker.
Wow.
And, oh man, when this clan first came out, I was just like, Lucifer! This was the clan that I really hated, actually, when it first came out. Because it seems so broke. Because, for those of you who don't know what Link Jokers are yet, they basically say, oh, that's a nice unit you have there. It'd be a real shame if somebody locked it and said you couldn't do anything with it. It basically turns units into useless black void. And basically just says, hey, it's not there anymore for this turn.
And frankly, cards that are locked don't become useful until set 15 comes out.
Yeah, indeed. Cards that are locked basically can't do jack squat.
Yeah, and for some clans that really screws them over, like Gold Paladins.
Ha! Yeah, that's probably one of the reasons I actually started liking them, because I'm like, yes, screw over the Gold Paladins. Especially Azel.
Not the biggest fan of Gold Paladins.
Yeah. And actually, when I saw this clan, I'm just like, I'm gonna test this just to prove how broke it is. And after testing so many builds, I started liking them, and I'm just like, I kinda am enjoying this deck a little. Because I've tried a bunch of them. Schwarzschild, Chaos Breaker, Omega, 3 of the big hitters, clans. There's even a card where it's just like, I took damage, lock, just cuz. So...
And frankly... Omega is basically a card that says if your opponent has 5 locked units, you instantly win the game. I mean, that is a broke ability.
Haha, Exodia. But
yeah, that's basically a way to bring Exodia into Vanguard.
It's just like, my brother! Anyway, but... So over time, I guess I've grown a liking towards them. I still kind of feel guilty whenever I see people use their abilities. I'm just like, yeah, you... But I still kind of like them, and again, when it comes to building them, it'd be one of those where it's like, you need the Break Ride for a lot of those, and the Break Ride comes in a trial deck, and I'm just like, getting stuff from trial decks.
But here's the thing, a lot of clans are like that.
Yeah, a lot of clans
Look at, Narukami. Narukami is basically a clan that's like, ooh.
Hey, you want good stuff? Get the trial decks!
Yeah, and the problem with Vanguard is, you need 4 of them.
Exactly.
4 trial decks in order to get the good stuff. Except for Kagero.
Kagero's just
all
like,
you have to do is buy 2 structure decks and you actually had a decent build.
Indeed. So, yeah, this clan, I've grown to it, I guess you could say, but it's one of my guilty clans where it's like, I feel guilty when I play it. So my number 9 is definitely Link Joker.
And my number 9 is Neonectar.
Ooh, this is interesting.
It's on there for me because it was one clan that's like, why did they build this? I actually did research on this clan and found out that this clan was more, as you probably figured out, it's plants and grass and things like that. I mean, it's foliage pretty much.
Salad!
Yes, you can build a salad deck, and that just gave me a chuckle when doing this. And frankly, the ideas are decent. The clan is decent. And if they were to get new support, which I hope they do, they could turn out to be a very decent deck. A very good deck, actually.
Yeah, they can, like, Musketeers, I've heard, are pretty decent. They're expensive as heck.
Musketeers, they're really good if they'd be better if they had a better grade 3, in my opinion.
Yeah, probably.
Cecilia is okay, but I find the Oberos line, even though it is a Raichian, I find it to be better. Because
yeah, and for those who don't know Neonectars, they're basically gold paladins, except instead of gaining power, they just say, hey, get more stuff on the field so you can save your hand.
Pretty much.
So the gold paladins, except less noobish.
I wouldn't call gold paladins noobish, but that's one person's opinion.
Yes, hooray for opinionated and being in America.
So, yeah.
So your number 9 was Neo's then?
Yes. What is your
Awesome.
number 8?
My number 8 is actually a tie between these two clans because they're basically the same. My number 8 is Narukami and Kagero because they basically do the same thing.
And before you start, I'm going to just put in there right now so we don't have more of these double-ups. My number 8 is actually Kagero as well, so we can just talk about these at the exact same time.
Narukami I actually do like more than Kagero just because it was actually the first deck I ever built and ever had.
I feel like, though, Narukami is just so much of a copy.
Yeah, it is a lot.
It's basically taking a lot of the same abilities, just upgrading them to be just a tad bit better.
Yep.
But Kagero, I feel like it's one of the base clans.
And actually, if you do look at Kagero, Kageros don't really have a weakness. They don't.
Yeah.
Necessarily.
Yes and no. Frankly, you kill off their rear guards, I feel like...
They get a little weaker, yeah.
Yeah, because it's not...
Like, in Kagero, I like the normal Dragonic Overlord.
Frankly, when the break ride for this deck came out, it was taking top tournaments. Kagero was just wiping out every deck.
Yeah,
because of the break ride / the end build.
So you mean Dauntless?
Dauntless end build. People were doing 4 and 4.
Dauntless the end, yep.
And it was just taking tournaments everywhere. I mean, it won Worlds 2 years in a row. So.
And Kageros are powerful, I'm not going to deny that. I do have more of a soft spot for Narukami, despite the fact that the more support they get, the more I feel like, oh, Narukamis, you have become a lot like Golds, except you guys blow stuff up, instead of calling more stuff to rearguard.
Frankly, I like Kagero just because of one of the first clans to get a usable grade 4. Yes, there are grade 4 cards coming out, guys.
There's only 2. The other goes to Great Nature, which I find odd that they just gave it to Great Nature. It's just like, well, go Great Nature.
But that card can't even be used now.
Yeah, it can't be used.
It even says right on the card.
Can't be used
cannot be used past this certain date. It was like February 7th of like 2010. I could be wrong with that date, so don't.
Yeah, and the Kagero Grade 4, technically you can't use in tournaments, but you can still use it for
No,
fun, and
you can use it in tournaments, Brett. They have yet to ban it.
It's still broken, though.
Yeah.
It's broken.
I'm sorry, Solomon.
And,
it may be still broken, but still. There's a heavy cost to it, and frankly, you can only do it as many as twice a game.
Well, the ability where it says, hey, you know those triggers that you have there? They don't work when I'm here.
But here's the thing,
that's
Brett.
That's the part I find broken. Everything else is fine.
You have to Counter Blast and Soul Blast 3. Right there, the Counter Blast 3 is such a heavy price.
Yeah, it is. Like Vermilion, who says, hi, I'm attacking the front row.
So, yeah.
But my number 8 and his number 8, we both had Kagero on there. Kagero's cool in my opinion. I do like Narukami just a little better because of the ties. And also Thunderbreak, stay strong, my brother, even though you don't do much. So, I guess since your number 8 was Kagero, you want me to just go to number 7?
Just go straight to number 7.